Welcome. In this video, we are going to talk a little bit about version control. So we are going to start by looking at version control, what it is, and then talk about Git, right? So this is a lot of you asked for this video. So I put a video so that we can understand Git. So we'll talk about the 3 states of Git and the 3 sections of a Git project. All right. And then we'll get familiarized with the Git command. And then talk about github.com. How is Git and GitHub different? And then finally, we will understand what are Git branches. So let's get started. Let's get started by understanding version control. So version control, also sometimes called source control, is the practice of tracking and managing changes of software code. This becomes important as you start writing more code for your project, right? So you might want to roll back to a particular version if a current version doesn't work. So versioning becomes very, very important to track and manage changes itself. So version control systems are software tools that help software teams manage changes to the source code over time. So there are 3 types of version control. One is a local version control system, then a centralized version control system, and a distributed version control system. A local version control system is a local database located on your local computer in which every change is stored as a patch. The main problem with this is everything that is stored is locally. If anything were to happen to the local database, all the patches will be lost. If anything were to happen in a single version, then all the changes made after that version would be lost. Also, collaborating with other developers or a team becomes hard in a local version control. So with that came the centralized version control system. A centralized version control system has a single server that contains all the file versions. This enables multiple clients to simultaneously access files on the server, pull them to their local computer, or push them onto the server from the local computer as shown here. So you have Mark and Anna working on the same project, right? So there is a centralized version control. So in this way, everyone usually knows what everyone else on the project is doing. So administrator has control over who can do what. So then comes the distributed version control. A distributed version control system is one in which clients don't just check out the latest snapshot of the file from the server. They fully mirror the repository. Okay. So everyone collaborating on a project owns a local copy of the whole project, that is, runs their own local database with their whole complete history. With this model, if the server becomes unavailable or dies, any of the client repositories can send a copy of the project's version to other client and back onto the server when it becomes available. So this is enough that it is enough that one client contains a correct copy which can easily be further distributed. So Git is a distributed version control. There are 3 stages of Git, which means a file that you are tracking in your version control can reside in 3 stages. It can reside in the committed stage, modified state, or staged state. Okay. So committed state is one in which it indicates that the file is safely stored in the local database. Whereas modified is when any change to the file occurs, the state of the file changes from committed to modified, which means the document has changed since the last commit version, which is saved to the local database. We can see this state as we are currently working on this file. There will be more changes that will be coming. After we have finished all the modification to the file, it moves to the staged state. So this file is now ready to be added to the local Git database that you have marked to go into the next commit snapshot. So not all files needs to be tracked. A file can be in a project, but the changes to it need not be tracked by a Git. So all of those files we specify in a file called a git ignore file. So when we start tracking changes in Git for a file, we haven't been tracking, it automatically goes into the staged state. So there are three sections of a Git project. Okay. So the first section is the Git directory, which is also called the repository. So this is where Git stores the metadata and object database of the project. So the second section is the working directory. So this is a single checkout of one version of the project. This is where you modify the file, right? So this is where the modification of it happens. The third section is the staging area, sometimes also known as the index. It's the area between the working directory and the .git directory. All the files which are ready for a commit are stored here. So when we commit, what is in the staging area moves to the new version of the repository. This excludes what is in the working directory. So this allows us to change files however we like, but only when we move to the staging area will it be committed. Everything we change but do not want to put in the repository just stays in the working directory. So here are some of the Git commands that you should be familiar with, right? So whenever you do a Git add, so from the working area, you are moving that file into the staging area. So you can either have the whole set of files which have caused changes by saying git add dot. All the files where there are changes happened in the directory can be pushed to the staging area. Right, or you can add file by file. You can say git add a file name, particular file name in a directory. Then you do a git commit which pushes it to the local repository. And then we are going to talk later, since we talked about the distributed control, right? So when we do a git push, what happens is it pushes to the remote repository. Okay. So the most often the commands that you should remember is when you are trying to keep Git track your record is all the changes is you need to know how to add to the staging area, then do a commit, right? So we've talked about the modify, you're making modification, then you're adding it, and then you are committing those changes. And then once in a while, after we have made several commits to the local repository, you can push to the remote repository, which might, so that you can have it on the remote repository as well. And then that is by doing your git push. So github.com. So what is that? So GitHub is essentially an internet hosting service for software development and version control using Git. So it's like your remote server. Okay. So you can create a remote server of your Git anywhere. You can create it on your Amazon cloud, need not be in GitHub, right? So it provides the distributed version control of Git plus access control, bug tracking, and other software feature requests, task management, etc. for each project. So GitHub right now is a subsidiary of Microsoft. So if you look at the diagram here, so you have your central remote repository, which is sometimes called a server. So the function from there, you pull from that repository to your local repository, right? So, and then you work on your local working copy. Okay, so you make some update and then you do a commit. Right, on your local this thing, and after you have made several commits, you can push to the remote repository. So there is another concept called Git branches, which we may not, which is used a lot while you're collaborating with multiple people. Okay, so a branch in Git is essentially a lightweight movable pointer to one of the commits. So the default branch name in Git used to be called the Git master, but because of the connotation of master slave, it's currently called the main. Okay, so this diagram is a little bit older, right? So we tend to, so you can sometimes you will see it's called as master branch or main branch. Okay, so they are interchangeably used. Each time you commit to the master branch, pointer moves forward automatically. But when you want to create a new branch, it creates a new pointer to move around, which means a new branch can be created. So you have especially when you're doing development on a very large scale, right? So there is a certain code which is already deployed on the server, but then you have what are called hot fixes, which are something is not working, so you have to find out what is not working, so you can create a branch for hotfix, right? So you can also create a branch for any of your new feature that you create. Okay, so here you can see that, so you have your master branch which is in light blue, then you have your hotfix branch, then it gets merged on to the master branch, then you have your development branch which is your violet, right? So then you have all your feature branches also. So you can see that each of the feature branch can be created from some specific version onwards, right? So there could be multiple feature branch, so people can be working on several features, and then eventually the idea is so that it gets committed into the master branch. But for your project, because you are going to work on individual projects, you will not need to use git branches, but it helps to understand how branches work, because whenever you're merging it with your main branch, there is a lot of things you have to create a pull request in order to merge your branch with your main branch. All right.
Hi, in this demo, I'm going to walk you through how to sync your remote repository on GitHub on your local machine, right? So you should log in and get yourself a username and password on GitHub. That's fairly easy. Just sign up for it, right? So create a new repository. So let's go ahead. So let's say you want to create a remote repository to keep track of all your data engineering projects. So you can say MCA AI maybe, and then data engineering project, right? So click on repository and on this is my username. So you can keep it public so that I can access it for evaluating. So this contains all resources for the data engineering project. Okay, so you can keep it public and then add a readme file. I'll tell you in a bit what that is, right? And go ahead and create that repository. So what happens is when you are creating a repository like that, so whatever, so your readme, whenever you are accessing any sort of Git repository, right, the readme file is what you see as the description. So very quickly, I'll probably show you the Dask tutorial that we have been used to, right? So the README file of this, so this is called a markdown file. So all of this information that's given in a repository comes from the README file. So you have to write the README file in a certain way so that you can have all the information corresponding to your repository in some way, right? So you can go and Google Markdown text. How do you write, create your documentation, README, etc. Right? So I'm just going to let you figure that out. So what now I'm going to do is so now that I've created a repository, but that is in my remote server, right? GitHub. So I want to create a local copy of it so that I can keep track and push my code to it. So how do I go about doing it? I copy, so I do a git clone of this repository onto my local machine. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I am currently at my code folder, whichever folder that I want to. I can go cd, get into the folder, and then I do a git clone, right? So this clones the folder. So just going to show you. So this is what happens, right? So whenever you are wanting to make any changes into this folder, so let's say you're adding your data file, so adding your code, etc. So I'm just going to quickly show you from, I'm not going to take a lot of time to create those files. So typically I'm assuming so I have a couple of them. So let's say onto my code folder, I'm putting a task demo dot IPYNB file. And on my data, let's say I'm just creating a dot text file. So let's say if I can get one of those. Okay, I'm just going to use one of the NYC folders, right? Uh, okay, so I'm just showing you, you're making some updates, right? So this is where you committed your creating a copy. Now you're changing your local copy, so you have to commit it back to the local to the remote repository. So how do you do that? So after you clone, you go into your folder that you have cloned, right? So in this folder, what would have happened is Git is tracking because you have already cloned this folder. So I can now say git add dot, which means I want to add all the changes that have been made in this folder. Then I do git commit. Minus M is for message. So I say updated with data and task code, right? So this is any generic message that you can give for that particular commit. Okay, so this is so especially when you are doing multiple commits, you want to, hey, in that particular commit, what have you worked on, right? So you added maybe your data, you've added your DAP file, etc. All right, so you have gone ahead and done a commit, right? So right now, what happens is, so it's done it. So it's saying that my local repository and my remote repository are not synced. Okay. So when I do a git push, this is essentially what I do to push my data into this thing. But then authentication has failed for this, right? So I've given you a reference link of how do you go about your authentication. So what you have to create a token for it. So I'm going to config my authentication here. So git config global username. So Divya hyphen SD is my username, right? So in that case, let's do. Okay, so once I do a config, it's now asking me for my username. Okay, so I give my username and then it asks for a password. So this password is a token that I have generated already. So you should be able to generate your own token. Paste it, but it wouldn't show, right? So and then, so it's basically syncing your local or folder and the remote repository. So it's writing all this information. I think the data set is a little big, all right? So it's doing that. So now if I go ahead and refresh my folder, right? So I have a code folder, I have a data folder, which has the data, right? So all of this. So then I can go ahead and edit my README. So some of these folders data you can edit on the remote repository, but I highly recommend you do it on your local folder side and then do these following three commands, which is your git adding dot keeps track of all the changes within that folder. So you can just use that, or you can do git add each file that you want to add, then do a git commit, and the minus M is for a message, and then do a git push to sync your local folder and your repository. All right. So do try it out, and if there are questions, I'm happy to answer.
So let's summarize. In this module, we have talked about version control. So we have understood what is Git, what are the three stages of Git, the three sections of a Git project, and what are some of the commonly used Git commands that you should be familiarized with. And then I've also given you a demo of how you connect your local Git and your GitHub, right? So we talked about GitHub, which is your remote server, can be thought of a remote server. And we also looked at Git branches. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you.